Hello friends, today is Monday the 19th of July 2021. Welcome back to another quick gardening tour. We are going to start at my sad slumping peach tree. Wah, wah. The peach tree is slumping because we had a huge rainstorm and we had lots of winds, and now these big tall branches are really drooping over. I mean, look at this. This was once a mostly vertical branch and now it's down here. Peaches are not yet ripe enough to harvest, so I'm going to keep them on here. What I'm going to do is effectively prop the branches either from below or kind of rope them up. And then I need to prune this tree. And right now I'm debating whether I'm going to do it in February dormancy or if I'm going to do it at the beginning of September so that there's not enough time for new growth to get started and die. You know what I mean? I'm just worried about infection, but I'm going to prune it to about 10 feet tall. I've got really nice V-shaped growth here and a double V here that goes out, and that's what you want. And in another year, these lines here will be as thick as this. And anyways, it's just one of those hard things to do as a gardener. You don't want to be pruning these beautiful things that you've planted and let grow. It feels counterintuitive to me, at least. So I'm going to do it though, because I don't want these branches breaking and the tree getting hurt. It's I have to be strict with my child as a parent. That's what it feels like. Check out the garden though. This is high summer, as I call it, and high is right. A lot of verticality going on. I made the right choice planting a hedge of these Mexican sunflowers, and you can see they're doing their thing. This buddy's almost as tall as I am. Look at the branching on this sucker up here. Just out of this world, and I think they're such a pretty color. In between them, in case you're wondering, the blueberry plants themselves are growing just fine. We even got a few blueberries. How about that? Check out the beans and the arched trellis. They're covering it almost completely. Let's go on in. Ooh, So it's bean time. My green beans are all pole variety. I gotta keep up on these, pick them, go to fresh bean salads and such. The beans in the long tunnel are a mix. This is not a green bean. This is going to be a potted bean that will shell for soups and stuff later on. It's about 80%, 20%, 80% these, 20% green beans that I use as filler. And of course, my favorite climbing flower. Planted these once, actually twice, and the seeds just germinate every year and fill in that space. Isn't that lovely? Let's go through the tunnel to the barrels. How about that? Just lovely. Today I'm making some minestrone soup, and I'm going to be using some fresh kale and chard. As you can see, I let this barrel go without planting anything in it, like a dummy. And here I've got some tall grasses coming up amongst my mint, which is flowering. Got some peppers coming on. Some of even a decent size, compared to my hand. It's a pretty decent sized pepper. And over here, it seems like the climbing flowers have just taken over. It's pretty cute. This corner is a real mess. I absolutely am going to cut down this sucker tree. And I have to rip off this creeping grapevine. It has squashed out the raspberry production in this whole corner. I've said it before, but this fall I'm going to be taking up the raspberry post, the original trellis, and then just redoing everything in between, digging out the dead stuff, thinning it out so that new stuff can grow well. But behind this area is effectively my old weed compost pile. I got some great big sunflowers growing up there. You can see this is where the tiger lilies were. They're mostly done. And these are Jerusalem artichokes that I threw out. I had extra once upon a time. Whoops, now they're growing wild. The gooseberry bush is here, and I'll show you what it looks like if you don't harvest when I harvest and you just let them go extra long. Check it out. Here are those leftover gooseberries that are they're too far in there. They're just not worth it. If you do let them go this long, they are very sweet, and super soft. This has no tart tang to it. They're really nice. So I suppose you can go gooseberries and let them sit for forever and just eat them like a berry if you're into that. I don't know how that changes their pectin content. Anyways, just thinking out loud here. And speaking of leaving things on too long, my black currants, I still haven't harvested. Look at my red currant. What a mess. There are raspberries growing up in between it. I need to do some serious thinning. I haven't really come out here in a month to do any kind of maintenance. The raspberries over here, The new ones that I let go are growing well in front of the trellis by like 2 feet or so. And ideally these will be growing inside the trellis. So, like I said, I have work to do. I don't want to be too aggressive though, because all these new ones will be bearing fruit soon. So it's always a balance. But remember me talking about rain in the past? We had lots of rain throughout the month of July, and the new growth is taller than I am. So when you get a lot of rain and you have raspberries, you get a lot of raspberries. The second harvest is going to be another huge one. Hi, sleepy bumblebee. Thanks for pollinating my garden. Oh yeah, sweet dreams. All right, there's the sun. Let's go on over here. Welcome to the jungle, right? Some sunflowers. Oh, hey, look at that. They opened on the other side. Check it out. Aren't those cheerful? Yay, and what wonderful little clusters. That'll be beautiful as it opens. And this is a mammoth, but I'm not seeing a head on the top, so don't know what's going on with that. Speaking of not seeing a head on things, it's kind of a mixed bag. Look at my weird looking broccoli. Not really a head on this calabash, so to speak. Beautiful head on the Dutch, but where are my Brussels sprouts? I don't entirely get it. I planted these all, let me widen it up. I planted these all and spaced them as I should. They've got full sunlight. They've got lots of nutrients, plenty of moisture. I just don't know. Look at this mess. Holy crap. Carrots are down here, weeds. Later today, in fact, right after filming this, I will be de-weeding and pulling the carrots. Tomatoes, look at that. This one's pushing the 7-foot mark, and I haven't trellised them for like, a foot. So I've got to tie them off, but they're doing well. You know, this is a tomatillo plant as it stands. A cherry tomato, beef steaks, they're all coming on, and oh, check it out. Da 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 da. Our first ripe red tomatoes of the season. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And now it's like non-stop tomatoes all the time, every time. Whenever you want a tomato for your cooking purposes, you come out and get one. I got a nice blender, a little bullet kind of blender for my birthday this past week from my mom. And I'm thinking of doing like fruit smoothies, of course, but then vegetable smoothies too, because you always have too many tomatoes. And I like tomato juice, and I like Bloody Marys. And I think I'm going to get a lot of good use out of it with the potatoes and other things in particular. Just thinking out loud again. Anyways, we were just talking here at the carrots and the tomatoes. And in this crazy area, aside from the sunflowers that we've been seeing already, the ground cherries are really spreading out. Good production on the ground cherries. Let's see if there is a ripe one that I can show you. Down here, this one is close enough. Ground cherries, and so many people ask me about these. They've got a nice dry little husk. It's like candy that comes in its own wrapper. And you pinch it, and out comes this beautiful, beautiful yellowy fruit. Yellowy orange, depending on where it is. And you just eat it, man. It's got a great flavor. It's hard for me to describe it. So I eat them like candy, and you can also put them in pies. Really good. So this big boy over here, I think, is the crookneck squash that starts all the way over here. It's growing like crazy. Flowers are coming up and setting, and hopefully we'll have a good squash crop. This one, not so much. Maybe some poor soil. Maybe it's a sunshine thing. I'm not entirely certain. And then over here, same thing with this pumpkin. Starts right there. Look at, you can see the stem coming on out, going on in. In fact, it's even climbing up over into the potatoes. Daddy's got some maintenance to do. Viewers that have kids, do you always refer to yourself in the third person as mommy or daddy? Like, I do all the time. So the peas are within 2 weeks of the end of their life, and I'm going to effectively kill them. I've got some more to harvest at the top here, but look at that. Leaves browning, the dark green of the actual stalks is thinning out into a very light pale green. That is the end of that cycle. So I'm going to harvest the rest of the peas, and I'm going to pull them up, and I'm going to try to reseed and see what happens. And speaking of things getting yellow, see down here we've got some yellowing of leaves in the potatoes. That's good. When the potatoes leaves are fully yellow and droopy, that's when you harvest the potatoes. And then next to the early potatoes, aside from the couple weeds, this is where those radishes were. And I said I'm leaving the pods to go because they're great in stir fry, and I have lots of pods. So I'm going to harvest all the pods, get rid of the radishes that were still in here, pull up some of the weeds, which are coming up. Gross. And then that'll give ample sunlight. I really got to be careful as I go through here. My zinnias, the giant zinnias, to grow and do their thing. Just look at the bean trellis, the big tunnel from the outside. Isn't that beautiful? And then you get things like a stalk just winding together and growing up, 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 up. So cool to see. Da 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 da. The asparagus and strawberry bed. Look at this. It's like a hedge, right? It looks like a great big fern. And the strawberries, you know, I clipped off a lot of runners to share, which I'm very happy about. Oh, here's another one. Da 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 da. Ha ha. These are Koroks from The Legend of Zelda. My daughter must have hidden these out here, or probably my wife. That's so cute. This is all new growth strawberry. As I look out, you can see the darker leaves and the lighter leaves. The lighter leaves are new growth, filling in the space. This is a nice full bed. I'm satisfied with that. These are the late potatoes. You can see they are not yellowing out at all. They're different species too. A couple of weeds to pull in between there, but this gives you an even better view at the peas at the end of their life cycle. Next to them we have beets. And take a look. They're ready to be harvested. I believe these are all a light beet as opposed to like a Detroit dark red. They're gonna make a good hummus and be good in other things too. I grow herbs, but I'm terrible at staying on top of them and using them. So let's talk about that. Dill, still plenty of things I can do with it. Basil, still tons that I can do with it, right? Just got to get it out and use it. Catnip, still tons that I can use it for. Give it to my mom's cats, right? That's the whole point. The cilantro has bolted, seeded, that will drop, this will fill up again. And the lavender has completely taken over this barrel. Look at that. Sorry about the focus. That's awesome. So when I do my maintenance this week, I'm gonna clean that up. It's gonna look really snazzy. And what garden tour wouldn't be complete if I didn't reference how tall the Jerusalem artichokes and the raised bed are compared to me. I think they're as tall as I am. So overall, year's going great. Got a little bit of work to do and some harvesting and then reseeding for fall. You know, maybe do another wave of carrots, that other wave of peas I've been talking about. And I'm loving it. Hope you are too. Let me know what you're growing. If you know like it, you know what to do. And we will see you again. Oh, hey, one more comment. See my Fleet Farm shirt and my sweet orange shorts. I'm filming my very last bit of Fleet Farm content for them today. My April through July contract is done. It's been a great experience. So if you've caught any of those videos, thanks for watching them too. I just got done building a beautiful playset for my daughters, and that was fun. So if you want to kind of switch content watching from gardening to outdoor home improvement, I highly recommend that video, and I'm sure I've got it linked. That's enough. Have a wonderful week ahead. Stay cool, stay healthy, happy gardening. Bye guys.